Hello Insiders, this week we have something real special. We have a collab with Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators Channel, and Tim and I are doing something that should be pretty interesting, hopefully to most of you. I asked Tim a bunch of questions about how he built his channel, as well as to give us a consult on our channel on how we can make it better, and then ask for some feedback about YouTube creator tools. So what follows is Tim's answers to my questions.
Hey Tom, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm really excited to hang out with you here and answer some of these questions that you have for me.
So let's just go right into them. The first one is, how did you get from 0 to your first 1,000 subs? I know that was hard for us, but really curious what strategies you used.
Man, those first 1,000 subscribers are the hardest, I think. I had a little bit of an advantage here in this channel because I was actually doing YouTube education and YouTube tips and training and things on another channel prior to coming to this one for a company that eventually got sold to another company, and I didn't go along with the acquisition. And so I launched Video Creators, and I did a little bit of an announcement on the other channel, and I started with this one with a few hundred subscribers actually. So within like the first few weeks, I hit pretty close to 1,000 subscribers.
All right, next question, similar. How'd you go from 1,000 to 100K? Was it different? Did you do anything special, or was it kind of the same strategy, but just more?
Going to 100,000 subscribers took substantially more work than the first 1,000 did. I did a few things. One is I just cranked out a lot of content. I think I was doing like 3 or 4 videos a week at that time, which gave me more opportunities to rank and be positioned for more things and be discovered by more people looking for different things. Another thing that I did is I also interviewed a lot of people in the space, a lot of bloggers, a lot of other creators, and other faces that people would know and recognize, and their tribe, their audiences would end up watching the interview and then be introduced to me. I like doing the blogger route because a lot of the time, you know, those bloggers are also always looking for content. And so when they're writing about things happening in the industry, they don't always get to put themselves on camera. And so when I do an interview with them, put it on my channel, it's a piece of content that they put on their blog. And so that kind of collaborative nature worked really well. I think it also helped that there wasn't as much competition back then as there is today. There was just me and maybe 1 or 2 other people making videos about how to grow on YouTube and how to get more views and subscribers and how to develop a community online and things like that. And another thing that I think that really helped was that a lot of people told me that I was giving them information that they couldn't find anywhere else, information that was valuable to them. And they liked that. They said that it felt like it was coming across as very genuine, like I really did care, because I really do care. And they felt that. And so it wasn't just about the raw, cold, hard facts, but it seems like it was also if people felt like they connected with me and they felt like I cared about them and the projects they were working on, that I really genuinely wanted to help. And I'm glad, because I genuinely do, so I'm glad that comes across, but I think that made a big difference as well.
Looks like you're shooting for 1 million. What are you gonna do?
Getting to 1 million subscribers is tough. Especially in this niche. I mean, I don't even know how many active YouTube creators there are. You would have a better idea and understanding of that than I do. But you know, some niches have millions of people in them already. You look at gaming, you look at beauty, you look at vlogging and things like that. But how many active YouTube creators are there? Like, it's a much smaller niche relative to a lot of the other ones on YouTube that, from what I've seen and felt, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear stats on that. To get to 1 million subscribers in this creator niche, I think is very aggressive. I think it's going to take a lot of time to get like an active subscriber base of 1 million creators, because I see a lot of creators start and then they're really excited about it. They're passionate about it. They go really hard for maybe a few weeks, a few months, and then they start realizing like, oh, this YouTube thing is a lot harder than it looks, because they're just looking at the big guys who look like they're just growing fast with like relatively little effort, but they don't see the whole backstory. So I feel like there's a lot of creators who get going and then quit, and they subscribe to channels like mine, and then quickly become inactive subscribers when they see how much it really takes to grow a successful YouTube channel. So I think that's probably like one of my biggest struggles and challenges is keeping people on board who actually like care long term. So to get to 1 million subscribers, the things that I am really focusing on are a few things. One, I'm realizing it's not enough anymore to just stand here as a talking head and give 3 ways to grow your YouTube channel or 10 tips for your next thumbnail or something like that, right? Those videos were great in the past, but the barrier of entry to giving that type of like content is very low. Like anyone and lots of people now are just jumping on and just sharing like, here's 3 things and here's 10 things and here's what you should do and things like that. I need to get that 1 million. I need to take it up a notch. I need to step up my game. And the thing that I'm really focusing on is, to summarize it all, is storytelling. From what I've seen, the channels that have really just blown up recently in a relatively small amount of time in their subscriberships and views are the creators who are telling amazing stories that get people's emotions involved, and there's a strong human connection there. And so I spent the last year really studying a lot about storytelling, reading storytelling books. I've been going to storytelling workshops. I've even hired a storytelling coach to help me with some of the stories that I want to tell on multiple channels that I have, but especially on video creators. How do I tell stories about creators that are inspirational, that are heartwarming, that get your emotions involved, but are also educational and teach you something in the process, and you come out not just having a few facts in your head, but now you understand why those facts are important, and now there's like emotions and connections built into them that and far more meaning with a story than you would have had if it was just a few bullet points. The way I measure how good the storytelling is by looking at my audience retention graphs, looking at the watch time, looking at the engagement around the video, and using those types of metrics to really analyze like how well is this resonating with people? How well is this story holding someone's attention? Storytelling is another one of those things that's people do it masterfully. They make it look so easy, right? But the more I get into this, the more I'm like, wow, this is really hard. And that's probably a big reason why going from 100,000 subs to 1 million subs is a really big jump. You got to learn like a lot of different skills to get there. And I think storytelling is the biggest one that I'm going to be working on.
Okay, now looking at Creator Insider, our channel, could you take a look and give us some advice? We're trying to get to maybe even as many as 1 million subscribers. What would you do to help us grow faster if you were in our shoes?
I think at Creator Insider, Tom, you have a unique advantage in that you work at YouTube. You have access to a lot of the information that people like me and creators would love to know. And I know that you might not be able to share all of it publicly, but I do think that you are uniquely positioned to give a perspective that no one else is able to give. And I would love to hear that from you. I have thoughts and opinions, but you have actual data, and I would love to hear more about that data. And I think that would separate you from me and all the other channels that are talking about YouTube growth, development, and things, is kind of getting it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I also think that doing some more things visually could maybe help in your channel. On television, they tend to cut to a different angle, different camera, different something about every 2 to 7 seconds. You know, if you're MTV, they like hyper cut like really fast because like they're just really trying to keep you visually engaged. Because every time that's the image changes, people are like, oh, the brain's like, what? Something's different here. What am I looking at? And then it changes again, and then it changes again. You're right. And so and yours isn't the only channel that does this. Even my channel, lots of channels do this, where they'll just go uncut for like a long period of time. And in that case, like a lot of vloggers do that, especially if like all the value is like in the audio, right? So they really keep the eye engaged and keep people from sending that video to a background tab and just listening, or something like, I think the visuals, you know, whether that's B-roll on top of what you're saying, that's like examples, or that's just like a second camera angle that you're cutting back and forth between. I think that type of thing could really keep people engaged and see audience retention and thus watch time go up. But again, you're the data guy. You have more data than any of us, or access to it. I assume, maybe you don't, but someone there at YouTube does. A third thing that I think could really help you, Tom, is kind of improving your title and thumbnail game. And I know you know that. You work at YouTube. But like a lot of the thumbnails kind of look the same. There's not too much difference. It's just kind of a picture of your face and then some text on it that kind of just says the same things in the title. And the titles aren't really teaching a story or pitching as much value as much as they're just like making a statement. Like there's like the video being categorized as like this video would go in the partner program bucket, and this video would go in the interview bucket or something like that. So doing more to pitch the what and the why in the title, like this is what we're talking about and this is why it matters. This is why you should care. This is what we're talking about and this is the difference it's going to make on your channel. Because sometimes you talk about just the what, people don't really know like why should I care. So it's like, hey, we're going to talk about watch time so that you can get more views. People know why they should care about watch time, right? Like I think you understand that principle. But titles and thumbnails are they're okay, but there's nothing even really too strong visually in the thumbnail that would really make a strong emotional connection that represents the actual content of the video that well. And I see a one-shot girl. She's from my neckwood. She lives about. I need to watch this video. I didn't miss that one. Julie lives about 45 minutes from me. We have a collab coming up, actually. So I need to watch that.
We'd love to learn about your experience as a YouTuber. What are the things that you find personally most challenging about being a YouTuber and being successful on the platform?
Oh, man. A lot of things, actually. I think one of the hardest things, though, for me is the negativity of some people on YouTube. Like I pour my heart and my soul, just like every creator does, into creating a piece of content that I really hope impacts and serves people very well. And then you get the trolls and you get like the people who just say the most cruel, hurtful, and ignorant things. And I know how it feels when you get like 1,000 positive comments and then there's that one that just cut, you know? And the 1,000 comments kind of seem to disappear. And unfortunately, like now my next video after that, like that comment's in the back of my mind. And I feel like I need to justify myself. I need to stand up for myself. I feel like I need to set them right. I feel like I need to get into an argument, and all that is like pointless. And sometimes it's hard to keep serving the 1,000 people who are like getting tremendous value and are having their lives be changed, because it's so easy to just start focusing on that one person who is just ignorantly said things with having no idea about your character or the backstory or anything like that. So I think for me, there are times when you just feel like you just want to quit. And I have to remind myself that I do this for the 1,000 people who are being changed and impacted, and not let that one person get to me. But that is much easier said than done. I also find it kind of difficult to stay on top of the YouTube game. This platform is just always changing, and there's always new creators coming into the space, and there's always more content being uploaded, and there's always new changes in technology and policies and updates and things. And so I don't mean just staying on top of it from an information level. I mean staying on top of it as a creator, staying on top of my game, always continuing to improve, because it gets very easy to kind of get into a rut of making the same style of content over and over and over again. Man, after like a year or two, maybe 3, like I start to get bored with what I'm doing. Like it's no longer like a creative expression for me. I feel like my audience starts to get bored, and I see things start to flatline a little bit. And so always challenging myself creatively to push myself to try new things and to learn new skills that would improve like my videos and my content and how I'm serving my community. I'd say that's like a never ending thing. Like how do you keep reinventing yourself like every year or two, or even more frequently depending on the channel? But for me, like how do I keep reinventing myself so that I'm still interested in what I want to do, as well as my audience? I see like the creators who have done that well, like Philip DeFranco, Grace Helbig, and a lot of these creators who have been at this for a really long time and are still relevant today and still growing. I see that's what they've done. It seems what separates them from the creators who eventually plateau and die is that they, every year or two, they like reinvent themselves and up their game creatively. And that is hard to do.
Now you probably use a lot of our tools and spend a lot of time on YouTube. Are there specific feature requests or things that really bug you, or things that you wish you had about Creator Studio, specifically the YouTube Studio Beta?
I actually started using YouTube Studio Beta right when it first released, and I quickly switched away from it because there was a lot of features missing and things broken. I went back and tried it again, and I still found some annoyances. Like there's still things missing from like playlists and live streaming things, which I know you guys know about. And I just found a lot of little quirks. So I just kind of stopped using it. And checking it out again now. Looks like some of those things have been fixed, which is great. One of the main things, though, that I would really love would be in the comments section. When you're looking at all the comments across the channel, is there's some videos on my channel that just get like a lot of comments, and some of those videos I just kind of want to filter out. And I know there's a filter option here, which I'm really glad that's there, but I want to filter out, like I want to see all of my channels except for maybe 5 or 6 different videos where there's just a lot of people going like sub for sub and things like that, and like I just know I don't really want to see the comments on those videos anymore.
Those are all the questions I have, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Tom, thank you so much for having me on Creator Insider. This is awesome. It's been awesome to hang out with you and your audience here, and bring me back anytime you'd like. It's been fun. Thank you.
And now I'm going to start shooting answers to your questions.